Hey there, YouTube and Whooper Club fans. My name is Fruit Taco. I'm the coach of the Route 1 Burbs, and I'm here to welcome you to the Week 2 feature match of WCL Season 12. This week we have the Summit County Psyducks, coached by Duckfather, going up against Tony DJ and the mighty Miltanks. The Psyducks scraped by with a narrow victory Week 1, while the Miltanks suffered a big loss, so both teams are looking for a big win here to cement the start of their season. Let's get into it all and see how it all played out. The Miltanks Kilowattrel, Doug Trio, Roaring Moon, Tauros Blaze, Hydreigon, Mimikyu, Lokix, Rotom Wash, Cloth, Arboliva, and Amoonguss are going up against the Psyducks Iron Valiant, Mousehold, Sandy Shocks, Toad Scroll, Baxcalibur, Rotom Fan, Gyarados, Skeledirge, Scizor, Dunsparce, and Quagsire. Note that both Roaring Moon and Iron Valiant are not allowed to terrestrialize this season. With the three fastest Pokemon in the matchup, the Miltanks definitely win in the speed department in this matchup, also having several Mons in the 90s to outspeed a lot of the 80s on the Psyducks team. Their powerful Dark types are very spammable too, with only the Iron Valiant resisting them. Fairy and Flying are also strong, so we might see Kilowattrel and Mimikyu come as well. The Miltanks offense is great, though the Psyducks is absolutely amazing. The Miltanks have a huge ice weakness along with Fairy and Flying, just begging to be exploited by the likes of Baxcalibur, Iron Valiant, and Rotom Fan or Gyarados. Mousehold also can't be discounted, with Population Bomb always being a threat. I think I like the Psyducks in this matchup. Baxcalibur and Iron Valiant just seem so good, but a good Terra by your opponent can instantly remove your best attackers from the game, so really this could go either way. Taking a look at who is actually coming to this match, first up we have the Miltanks starting off with Nasty Plot Hydreigon with Leftovers. Flamethrower hits Scizor, and Terra Poison lets it resist poison and fighting types, suddenly turning the tables on its other counter, Iron Valiant. But I think I'd like to see Terra Blast over Earth Power to capitalize on that flip in the matchup even more. Next up is Defensive Tauros, running Will-O-Wisp and Bulk Up with Body Press. I love this set, especially with Terra fighting to make those Body Presses even stronger. Mimikyu is a third setup Mon here, running Swords Dance with a Life Orb. Its Ghost typing can help against a Mousehold, and Woodhammer lets it check Quagsire as well. Next up is Specially Defensive Amoonguss with Terra Fairy to get a great defensive type. Spore, Giga Drain, and Sludge Bomb let it do typical Amoonguss things, but Rain Dance is a very interesting piece of tech. Pairing with that potential rain is Thunder Rotom, who also has Volt Switch, Reflect, and Trick with a lagging tail. Terra Electric paired with Levitate works both defensively and offensively, boosting those Thunders and Rain. But I think I'd like to have seen Hydro Pump to hit the 3 electric immunities that it could find itself up against. And last but not least, we have the Titan itself, Cloth, with a really cool set. A Guave Berry pairs with its signature Anger Shell ability to potentially give it more free boosts. Add to that a further build on the Rain from earlier with Terra Water Crabhammer, as well as Trailblaze to hit Quagsire, Rock Slide, and Stomping Tantrum. Huge props to Tony for this team because I love absolutely all of these sets. The Psyducks aren't slouching with their team either. Leading the team is Mixed attacking Iron Valiant with a booster energy to boost speed. Moonblast, Close Combat, Psyshock, and Knockoff are all great moves here. Shout out to Psyshock especially to counter a specially defensive Amoonguss trying to soak up Moonblasts. Baxcalibur is also scary here, running a Dragon Dance set with Dual Stabs and Ice Shard. I love Terra Fairy on this thing to suddenly be immune to a Dragon-type attack and then get a free Dragon Dance or KO. Scizor is pretty standard, set aside from the Trailblaze on it, which is probably to hit Rotom, who could sponge a Terra Steel Bullet Punch very easily. Finally getting some bulk is Max Special Defense Rotom Fan rocking a nice pair of boots, although Terra Electric could get rid of that rock weakness for it. Will-O-Wisp and Discharge spread status along with the reliable options of Volt Switch and Air Slash. Complementing Rotom is Max Physical Defense Quagsire with Toxic and Rocks and Water Absorb instead of Unaware. Terra Poison could also let it resist any surprise grass attacks, as well as make sure it doesn't miss a Toxic. Last up is Gyarados running Dragon Dance and Terra Flying Terra Blast along with Waterfall and Stone Edge. I'm not even going to try to decipher those EVs though. It looks like a weird VGC spread if ever I saw one. With both of these awesome teams covered though, let's jump into the match and see what actually happened. Alright, here we are. The Miltanks left their fastest Mons on the bench, so Iron Valiant looks so good here. Baxcalibur is also looking good if Tauros is dealt with. The Sneaky Cloth could actually put in a bit of work here, though, if it manages to get some good boosts for the Miltanks, but Hydreigon spamming Dark Pulse seems like the most reliable damage on that side, maybe breaking things down for Swords Dance Mimikyu to clean or sweep in the endgame. Turn 1, we see Scizor come out against an Amoonguss, and they expectedly U-turn out. Rotom Fan is going to come in for that Scizor and take a Spore. Both coaches decide to switch here, going out into Gyarados and Cloth respectively. Gyarados then switches to the Rock Resist Quagsire, but Tony goes straight for the Trailblaze to do just under half. Scizor is going to come out to gobble up another Trailblaze, and now it's threatening with a strong Bullet Punch. Cloth stays in and gets modest damage off as Scizor goes for its own Trailblaze, which procs Anger Shell. Man, a free mini Shell Smash seems good. Terra Water means that Cloth not only lives the Bullet Punch, but eats its berry to get back up to over health before it KOs with a crit from Crabhammer. Without that crit, Scizor would have lived, but would have had to choose between switching out and letting something else take a big attack, or staying in and dying, not even being able to get Bullet Punch Chip without activating Anger Shell again. So this was unfortunate, but probably not the most impactful crit. But now Gyarados is in, bringing Cloth back down to neutral attack after Intimidate. Taking a risk, Duckfather stays in, with Gyarados getting slammed by Rock Slide before setting up a Dragon Dance. That was kind of a strange play. Not only did he risk getting flinched, he got no damage off and is still outsped at +1 speed. Could have gone into Iron Valiant, who outspeeds with the booster energy and would easily grab a KO, but maybe he wanted to preserve that booster energy for later and just hoped that Cloth didn't have a rock move. He is forced out into the Iron Valiant here, though, who actually takes a Rock Slide pretty well. Lucky it wasn't another Crabhammer crit. With the booster energy speed, Iron Valiant does outspeed and grab a KO, bringing in Rotom. Quagsire switches in. Rotom tries to give Lagging Tail to the Iron Valiant, but gets Quagsire's lefties instead. Quagsire switches out, and Hydreigon's going to set up a nasty plot as Quagsire gets off Toxic and Rocks. Duckfather switches into Rotom as a Sack, who lives one Dark Pulse to get some nice extra toxic damage off. But it goes down to another Dark Pulse, and now Baxcalibur is going to come out. There it is. Terra Fairy tries to bait a Dragon move Hydreigon doesn't have, and Flamethrower gives an attack boost on top of a Dragon Dance getting set up. Hydreigon's going to go down to a safe Ice Shard here, and Tauros is going to come in to deal with this threat. Big Glaive Rush comes out and crits to immediately KO Tauros. Man, without the crit there was just under a 19% chance for that to actually KO. If Hydreigon had used Earth Power and not given it that extra attack boost, Tauros could have lived and KO'd back with the bonus damage after Glaive Rush was used. Well, now Mimikyu will have to deal with Baxcalibur instead. Maybe it would have been better to go into Mimikyu first, but if Baxcalibur has Icicle Spear, it could break and potentially KO through the disguise. Baxcalibur switches out into Quagsire, who goes down to a super effective Wood Hammer. And that's going to bring Iron Valiant back into replace Quagsire, who takes a Shadow Sneak and then hits back with a Moonblast to break the disguise. I think Play Rough probably would have been the better play there, easily KOing Iron Valiant rather than just getting Chip off, but maybe Tony just didn't want to risk a miss or simply expected Life Orb Shadow Sneak to do more. Could be. Tony makes another weird play here, not getting off another Shadow Sneak, instead just going down to Knockoff. Amoonguss comes in, takes big damage from Psyshock, but Sludge Bomb is going to take Iron Valiant out. Gyarados comes out again, and it tries to set up with another Dragon Dance, maybe expecting a switch, but goes down to a Giga Drain. And now, Baxcalibur is the only one left. He risks the Icicle Crash miss, but hits to bring it to one Pokemon each. Rotom's out now, and misses Thunder as Baxcalibur sets up a Dragon Dance. Baxcalibur then goes for a second Dragon Dance, and barely survives a Volt Switch. And now, a final Glaive Rush is going to finally wrap up the game. Boy, if Thunder had hit, Tony would have won. Man, that is rough. Duckfather took a huge risk going for a second Dragon Dance, as +1 already KO'd pretty much any Rotom without significant bulk, and it was still a favorable roll on basically everything except max HP, max defense, which, running Thunder and enough investment to outspeed Baxcalibur that first turn, this Rotom definitely wasn't. But instead of Thunder, Volt Switch came out doing a max of 34.1% of Baxcalibur's remaining 35% health. That is a rough loss for the Miltanks. They had a couple tough breaks with the crit on Tauros and the Thunder miss at the end. That was a fantastic game, though, and big credit to both coaches for their play and these fantastic teams that they brought. Thanks to you as well for joining me for this replay, and you can check the description for more content from some of our coaches. That's it for me, though, and I look forward to bringing you another feature match next week.